That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for Freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom and Mojo 5 Radio. We have a crazy broadcast today as we get through the snow and everything else that's been really wearing us down this whole week, as we've been hoping that we'd see things improve. Today, I want to talk to you about unpopular mechanics, insider trading of private data. But before we do that, let's get into the things that I love most, which is American Pride Roasters coffee.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 5 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
Yes, American Pride Roasters, share it out with as many friends as you possibly can. And also, as you're trying to recover from the craziness called, oh my goodness, snow, storms, and cold, oh my, let's get into also New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
Yes, New Life Holistic, share it out with as many people as you possibly can, because this is exactly how we pay the bills at Mojo. And listen, and it isn't Mojo's fault that they don't have power. We're hoping that they will have everything recovered where they are right now, and that everybody will be doing well. Just keep the people in Texas lifted up in prayer. Just not just Texas, because people in Oregon are suffering, losing and not having any power out there. Some friends are now going into 5-6 days now without power. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this whole idea of popular mechanics and the idea of sharing private data, and how this has become it's a very telling thing about who people are. When we talk about this. Actually, honestly, before we talk a little bit more about this, let's get into one more sponsor, and that is Patriot Energy. I want to talk a little bit about them for a second here, please. Give me a second.
Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo 5 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today.
Yes, call Patriot Energy today. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can, because this is exactly how we get people aware of surviving this snow apocalypse and so much more, being better prepared for these worst case scenarios. Actually got some really good news on that. I'll probably try and bring it towards the end of the show on the attitude of gratitude. Try and end this cold week off on a very positive note. And if you get a chance, my website is battle4freedom.com. I want you to go there. I also want you to go to mojo50.com so that you can share out with as many people that you can pay attention. sounds like LEP is going to be on American Knuckle Radio tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Parodies and comedies. So check him out. LEP is a listener and also a host. And he is an amazing contributor to Mojo 50 Radio, and we really appreciate him. I see Carolyn, good morning, Linda, Belinda, Lep, Ramona, Brian, Lisa, and Belinda. Thank you for being part. They went to facebook.com/Mojo 50 Radio so that they can interact with this program and try and just offer some positiveness in the midst of this freezing tundra that has been blanketing many people around the country, around the world, who have just not felt comfortable or even free. Last thing, they had lockdowns, and now you have snowstorms making matters worse. But this whole idea of unpopular mechanics, so I'm doing a play on words here because of the fact it reminds me of the magazine Popular Mechanics. I remember seeing that, and I would always have my dreams of being some kind of technologically savvy individual that I could fix anything. And I can fix anything. I'm so smart. I've got all smarticles. I'm going to pick up all these books and make it seem like, or look like I've got all these books on my shelves and make it seem like I'm very intelligent as I build up a library of data and run out of time to read all the information that I want to. Speaking of creating and fixing a lot of different things, if you go to when you go to mojo50.com and you basically go to the shop, Brad Staggs, who's the host of the Daily Mojo that comes on Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, he has a book out there, Save a Little, Spend a Lot, or is it Spend a Little and Save a Lot, and get repairs done on your house. All available if you go to mojo50.com and go to the shop area and make a purchase there. But this whole idea is, I remember Popular Mechanics, and I thought that this is how you figure out a way to fix all these things. I love fixing things. Men, we love fixing things. We like doing things with our hands, and we think that we're just like these MacGyvers. And Brad Staggs was talking about MacGyver yesterday too, and it just made me think about what I was talking about yesterday as well, of just being crafty with our hands, being crafty in the midst of the shutdown, the lockdown, and even the hunkered in because of the snow. What steps are you taking to be this way? But I want to get away from that idea of popular mechanics and building things and fixing things the right way, because I want to talk about this whole idea of we work with sets of information and we figure out ways to manipulate and we used it to manipulate and shame people. You remember how we would sit there and talk about, well, fat shaming is so horrible. Well, we have figured out a way that we can, if it's not fat shame, it's faith shame, it's speech shame, it's all these different ways that we go through and shame people into doing what they want. The latest one that really gets me right now is the debacle on Ted Cruz. Because right now, this says that leaked texts contradict Ted Cruz's claim of indulging daughters on Mexico trip. So, one of the things that I sit here and I wonder, how did you get these texts? It's very interesting that we have. Look at all the data, look at all the articles, look at all the information that's surrounding Ted Cruz taking a trip to Cancun. And what I don't understand about this is, here we have all these people who are concerned. You need to stay there. You need to stay there in Texas and freeze with everyone else. He doesn't have the right to leave. But all the people who were angry about, let's go through how many different things. That you had, what was it, a dozen people in California. Newsom just made an order, and Newsom and Democrats and so many different ones in California made the decision, you can't leave, stay in your homes, travel advisory, no one's allowed to go anywhere, 12 of them fly off to Hawaii. And nothing's covered. Let's talk about the whole idea that Leonardo Dicaprio, who decides that he's going to be a climate change activist, he and John Kerry, they continue to take their private jets to fight and combat climate change but there is no outrage. Well, we need them to be there and do that. All the excuses that are being made for other people to jump on planes and escape COVID and solve climate change, but Ted Cruz going on a trip to Mexico is wrong. Here's where Cruz would have been best. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. I have an option. I have the ability to leave. There's nothing. What is Ted Cruz going to do? You want him to go out into the snow and basically start thawing out those pipelines that are frozen? Is this what you want him to do? But see, the thing about it that really gets me is I'm trying to figure out, where did all this information get so compiled so quickly against Ted Cruz? But the idea of Hunter Biden and a laptop with data convicting Hunter Biden and Joe Biden of what their dealings with Russia, Ukraine, and China, it is the furthest thing from the truth. That data is hidden and removed from the public. Ted Cruz flying to Mexico during a snowstorm that he can't stop and he can't fix is bigger news. Than Joe Biden saying that black people are too stupid to use the internet. It's bigger than Joe Biden's connections to China. So here we are. Unpopular mechanics. What seems to be the means and the strength of why most media continues to go. I mean, even when you're thinking about it for us in talk radio. In talk radio, it's unpopular mechanics. We talk about the things that are unpopular. We talk about the things that are hypocritical, some that are seemingly and some that are actual. Wow, got a strain there. Probably need to get some American Pride Roasters coffee and squeak up, oiling up my voice so I can talk proper. Yes, Curtis, we're a bunch of zombies. We're a bunch of zombies. That's exactly what we're doing here. And I'm a zombie too, because I was working till 3 o'clock this morning on a work project and I'm still not done. I saw this thing with Mexico, with Ted Cruz in Mexico, and again, it's the compilation of data. Here's the next one that I saw that it was on here. They said Ted Cruz let family poodle named Snowflake, and as he fled frigid Texas resort to Cancun. And they showed this picture of his puppy sitting there, the poodle standing in the doorway. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, we have more data against a Texas senator than we had of a presidential candidate. A vice president who's been around 48 years. Unpopular mechanics is who you can actually sour and sully in public, in the public life, is the one who's quicker and better at ruining someone's life, exposing someone's life. But it's interesting how it's amazing how we twist and make things work to our advantage. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. The Wizard of Oz is in the midst of our misinformation and our unpopular mechanics. Yes, Carolyn, some look for wrong in everything instead of good. Some look for wrong instead of looking for good. Because here's my thing is, if we're going to look at wrong for one side, we have to look at wrong for all sides. See, that's the thing that I don't like, is that we because of partisanship, because of that foolishness, I read an article that said that more people now are deciding where to work because of the partisan reasons, which is driving what decisions of where they work, where they live. I mean, honestly, why in the world would you want to live in an area full of Democrats who are constantly hostile towards Republicans? They'll be at your house 3 o'clock in the morning, basically spray painting your dog and complaining about you're too quiet, or we don't like the fact that you have guns in your house. Though you've never been in my house, somehow, some way, Karen, you know exactly everything going on in my house, and you're going to spray paint, you're going to protest, you're going to do a lot of different things just to let it be known that you're uncomfortable with my existence in your community. Somehow, some way, where you fought for years to let other people's lives and their sex preferences, their sex styles be hidden away from everyone else. But now, Unpopular Mechanics basically says, I will protest and I will go out of my way to make a scene just so that you feel uncomfortable. Unpopular Mechanics is this idea of making people feel unpopular, people feeling uncomfortable, because we've got to make people woke to your evils and your sins. But it's amazing how this data comes out, and I'm like, how did this data get out there so quickly? Especially when you had, because again, especially they had even with Ted Cruz in his home. Oh, it was 30 degrees in his home as the dog was left behind. Someone was watching the dog. Where was Ted Cruz supposed to take the dog? I want to ask, because Ted Cruz wasn't the only person in Houston or in Texas who didn't have power and can't keep their pets warm. Are those other people going to be on TV? Are those people's lives going to be exposed? How many other people fled Texas, and maybe they didn't go to Cancun, but maybe they found another state where it might be 10 or 20 degrees warmer? Are those people's lives going to be put on Front Street? Yeah, pick and choose, Carolyn. That's exactly what it is. Pick and choose. And yes, Carrie, people cannot mind their business. They can't. We can't. We're so nosy. We are Karen. We are Karen. Bump, ba-dum, bump, 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 bump. We are Karen. Bump, ba-dum, bump, 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 bump. Oh, I love that. I love that commercial because you can really go all day long with just funny things that you can say on that. Oh my goodness. What is it? Oh, I love it. I sit here in amazement about why we pick and choose what data that we're going to share, and it's going to come back on us, and it's not going to be something that's comfortable because of the fact that we have chosen to be very peculiar in how we expose individuals, how we expose people. It's going to come back on us. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. We better change it because all of us are about to be exposed. All those people who went out of their way to expose Ted Cruz. Lord Jesus, get ready. It's about to come back on you because trust me, there are bigger things to worry about. There are bigger things to worry about on here. Here's one. I'm gonna because before I leave the Ted Cruz situation, now Ted Cruz is out there apologizing and saying maybe it wasn't the best thing for me to do. No, Ted, do what you need to do. If your family, listen, Ted. Okay, let me help you understand something, Ted. Come closer to the window because I know you're listening right now. Okay, you're a husband and you're a father, and your responsibilities comes to Heidi and the children long before they come to anybody else. I had a chance of meeting Heidi back in 2016 during the primaries in Plainfield, Indiana. It was my first ever. Actually, let's see if I can find that picture. But I had a picture that Heidi took with my kids in 2016. Heidi Cruz. She was willing to take a picture with my oldest. So that was 4 or 5 years ago. She was there. It was pretty cool. Your responsibility, Ted, is to take care of your wife. And guess what? If that Cancun resort has power, heat, food, take your family and take care of business, Ted. Don't apologize for taking care of business because guess what? There were a lot of New Yorkers, there were a lot of elitists who sat there and they fled COVID control and lockdowns and restrictions and flew to Florida, flew to other countries. I mean, think about this. Tom Hanks and his wife, who were COVID bound, or COVID infected, were in another country. How did they get out of the country? How did they get out of the country so fast and test positive? Hey folks, we got to heal Tom Hanks. It's so sad. These people are sick. Unpopular mechanics. Here's one that's really unpopular, because this is the part that really gets me. I'm not gonna lie. The last one, I apologize. I know I said it was the last one. It was so bad when I started seeing them go over on Ted Cruz yesterday, and I had to laugh the way that they did it, because Daily Mail had an article saying flying Cruz busted trying to exit Texas. And it's the lovely play on words. As I sit here saying unpopular mechanics, playing on words of popular mechanics from the magazine, they used flying Ted instead of lying Ted by Donald Trump. Very key, very cute. Nice job. But here's one that I thought was very interesting, because Chris Cuomo he tweeted mocking a Texas mayor about his failures to take care of the people during these power outages and things like that. But he remains consistently silent. He remains constantly silent about the clear deception, lies, and fraud from his brother, Governor Cuomo, about the 12,000 plus individuals who died in senior facilities because of his brother's failure to be a leader. His brother should not only be impeached, he should be arrested. He should be jailed. He should probably go spend some time in those COVID-infested senior facilities and see how it feels. He probably has 17 doses of every virus, every antivirus that's out there, or every vaccine that's out there, so that he can recover and not worry about this. But here it is. You spend all your energy sitting there blasting these people in Texas, and I'm sitting here thinking, but where were you when? Because I knew that they did it. I talked briefly about it yesterday, about the liberal hatred against Rush Limbaugh. Then I listened to the Daily Mojo yesterday, and I hear some of the different things that they said yesterday. Some of the most vile things that these people tweeted and said. Lefty hatists, and even stars who were so happy to sit there and watch that Rush Limbaugh was dead. But then I also heard, when you heard some of these individuals, with AOC, who's basically blaming Ted Cruz and other officials in Texas about avoiding the Green New Deal, and this is the reason why they're dealing with this. But no one wants to talk about the idea that those windmills that you keep talking about, the turbines that you keep talking about, when they get retired and they can't be used anymore, they get buried like those thousands of different souls in New York that were buried. Go across the landscape of America and find all the different places where those big wind turbines that you think is going to save everything, they are filling landfills. And those aren't some small things. Those turbines, those arms are nearly 2-3 stories tall? 2-3 stories tall. And they're filling landfills. Like those batteries that from these electric cars that we think are going to be better in the environment. Really? Huh. Wow. We are a peculiar people. Yeah, technically speaking, a lot of these people are peepers, because they're looking into other people's lives and they have no business. They need to be spending time in their own homes, dealing with their own issues, rather than trying to be the next Walter Cronkites and exposing other people's data. I got to find this. There's a scripture verse that talks about, I think it's in the book of Proverbs, that talks about the wisdom of concealing information that is private and is critical. This isn't like exposing government fraud and election fraud information, but the people who exposed Ted Cruz's information about where he went to, pictures of his family and everything like that, it's going to come back on you. And I'm telling you, You're not going to like how that's going to happen. I'm going to talk more about unpopular mechanics, insider trading of data, private data, when we go back from the break. But for now, talk to you beautiful people on the flip side. Warning. The next 2 minutes will be without music. Why? Because someone in a third world country decided to copyright open source, or basically royalty-free music. Right now, you would probably be listening to soothed sounds of elevator music. But no, I got a warning that that music is copywritten. So you will have to listen to my voice for the next minute and 30 seconds. Why? Because I haven't come up with something unique for you to listen to. Now, in this time, while you've been mesmerized by my voice, I hope you would have taken the advantage to go make yourself another pot of American Pride Roasters coffee, or go to the potty break, or take a potty break. Because when we get back, I will keep you enraptured with my wit and my silliness. And I hope that your bladder will be forgiving to you if you do not go now. 1 minute left. That's how much time you have to quickly use the restroom and wash your hands. Remember, 20 seconds for scrubbing to make certain that you get rid of the Rona and anything else that could make you sick. Now, it's about 40 seconds left, and I still have the feeling that you're not going anywhere because you just want to hear what I'm going to say. If you soil yourself, it's your fault. I gave you the opportunity. Less than 30 seconds left. Now you've lost the proper window of washing your hands after using the restroom. What are you going to do now? Are you just going to sit there and wait to hear what I have to say? Guess what? We're almost 10 seconds away. Are you really prepared to go the distance? Well, I really appreciate your tenacity. Battle for Freedom is back now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio, and I'm glad that you are with me as we sit here talking about unpopular mechanics and the idea of insider trader of private data and trading of private data. Man, I had a chance to make that rhyme and I failed in the subtitle. You know what? I'll try not to alliterate today, and I'll just give you the information. Hi, my name is Watson Prunier. I'm a host of Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. My website, battle4freedom.com, but I also want you to go to mojo50.com. Folks, this is we're at the end of the week, and I'm telling you, it is it's gonna be good to just kind of like wind down and take things easy. Again, pray for me because I am dead exhausted, and 3 hours sleep was definitely not enough before trying to do this again. Carolyn Crouch, I love you. Glad I'm not living in Texas with an electric car. Yep, so am I. Let's see. Green New Deal, Renee. Green Deal, so laughable. Use windmills and freeze to death. This alternative energy stuff. The windmills, the solar panels are pipe dreams. No pun intended. Because of the fact that you need lots of it, but you also need to figure out a way that you deal with the stuff when it dies. When they started showing some of these batteries that are in some of these electric cars, that are literally destroying our environment worse than fossil fuels. See, that's the data that I can't figure out why we have more information on Ted Cruz's family, Donald Trump, and all of his wrongdoings, but these alternative energy solutions, batteries and electric cars, all the different things that are supposed to make the environment better and allow us to live a little bit longer, is actually doing more damage to the environment. Oh my goodness. Let's get back into this for a second here. Sean Hannity. Now this is the one where I'm like, Sean, stop, Sean. People called him Hack Hannity. Don't. Because now he's going after Biden because Biden hasn't made a trip to Texas. And I'm thinking, what is Biden going to accomplish? What is our president, Joe Biden, going to accomplish by going to Texas where they have no power and you can't fix anything? Because now we have to figure out the logistics and the security of making it possible that if Joe Biden is concerned, which let's say he is, okay, folks, let's not. There are definitely things that he is a monster about, but to say that he doesn't care about the people in Texas right now just for partisan sake, stop, Sean. It's unbecoming of a human. Okay, trust me. I've got more data that we can actually confront our president on of what he is doing wrong, rather than turning around talking about whether or not he's going to be in Texas to act. This is the pettiness that they were doing against Trump about him not responding fast enough to situations. Let us do better than that. Let us rise above the occasion. I know you get paid to do it, but sometimes let's take a break. Okay. Let's take a break and actually and go with the logic that it makes no sense for Joe Biden to actually be in Texas when the people in Texas need all government officials who are not responsible in Texas out of Texas, so the people who are responsible of fixing Texas can get the job done. We don't need a meeting. We don't need all these other different things. We just need the people who are fixing Texas to work on it and do their best. Of course, yes, Carrie. Of course, Biden is sending help to Texas. Of course, he's doing that. Come on, folks. Really, do we have to let our partisanship to get so bad that we're just going to be demanding, expecting failure from the other side rather than actually praying that they? I mean, seriously. How much energy have we spent towards praying for Texas? I don't post my prayers for the president anymore. I was hoping to set an example and pray that a lot of you like, well, you don't pray for the president anymore. No, I pray for Trump. I pray for Biden. I pray, and I need to continue to remember to pray more for Barack Obama as well. But I don't put it out there on Front Street anymore because I was hoping that as you saw me do that, you would be encouraged to do the same exact thing. This is a difficult decision to deal with now. Lives are being lost, power, viruses, vaccines, snowstorms, blizzards, power outages. No one will want to be in charge. Because all eyes, if the media holds the same standard on Trump that they held, if they hold the same standards to Biden that they did to Trump, then all eyes are on Biden, and we need to be praying for his sanity, not praying for his failure. See, a lot of us are going to be praying for him to be unpopular and fail so much, not realizing that our family members, our friends, or even decent human beings will be collateral damage to our hatred. Really? Is that how far we want to go? Is that how far we want to go to win? I know it's what the others, yeah, that's what they did. That's what the left did, yes. But do we have to sink to their level just so that we could win at their game? Remember, what is that? Don't argue with a fool because they'll bring you down to their level and beat you up with experience. Well, we're acting like the devil. And he's beating us down with experience when we decide to be so unchristlike in our behavior in the midst of this. Hannity, stop, please. I'm begging you, stop. It's just overdone. It's like a steak or a hamburger that was just left on the grill far too long. Stop. Hashtag stop the hate. Renee says, God just proved it to us. He recreated the movie Frozen in Texas and Louisiana. Hey, one of the other listeners, is it Kenzie Richard? I want to make sure I get the name right. He showed me some pictures from Alabama. and they've got a lot of snow out there too. So there's a lot of states are being, and please pray for all of our people who are on the road. I don't know if Sean's going to be out on the road or not. He's from Off Track Syndicate, comes on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please pray for them. Also, we'll see if Dominic Izzo will don us with another birthday picture. He comes on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Let's see how crazy people are, because he's like, I'm not hiding any data. I'm going to let you see everything about me. He is crazy. Oh my goodness, he is so insane. So let's pray that Dominic Izzo doesn't want to be unpopular today. We don't need Dominic outside anymore, showing us the moons. But here we are. We just need to pray, folks. I'm serious. We've been on trial since last year. Since all this lockdown stuff has begun. The unpopularity of the people who decided that they wanted to go to the Costco's and Amazons and Sam's Club and overbuy hand sanitizers, toilet papers, and all these other different things so they could sell them at a higher price to their individuals. Price gouging in the midst of a pandemic and in the midst of all these different things that are going on. We've been on trial. We've been failing miserably before God. There's been a lot of red stamps. There's been a lot of red ink that's been written on the tablets of our lives, the tests of our lives over the last 10, 11 months, because we've been focusing so much on making other people unpopular before the world that we don't realize how much we've been unpopular before God. I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it. That's the reality. We spend so much information, and I still didn't find that scripture passage. But there's a scripture passage that says that it is better to conceal a thing than to make it known. The wise know how to conceal things, and a fool will blabber. That it's Watson's retelling of a proverb, and trust me, I could have done far worse. But I will find that passage, and if many of you can Google search that of a wise person conceals something, please, I would really appreciate that. I love it. Let's get back into it, because this is really good. Carolyn Crouch, I love every last one of you sharing some great stuff. This is what I'm trying to hit home. Okay, Donald Trump is not president. Let's get over it. He's not president. Joe Biden is our president. Get over it. Carolyn Crouch, I don't want anyone that represents America to fail. We need to rise above this. Let's love one another and pray we can continue to come together as one nation under God. Amen. Amen. But see, you have to understand something, Carolyn. That is an unpopular position when winning is what matters more than anything else. See, unpopular mechanics is what we do, that we bring out our cell phones and we record people, we pull out our computers and we tweet and we write articles and we do exposés on individuals because we have to destroy them, because as long as they're low, that makes us seemingly high, and that's how we supposedly rise in this theater of life and popularity with the world. That's not loving one's neighbor. That's loving one's self, because using other people's failures to rise above the occasion is a very unfortunate way of succeeding in life, because that means that you have to trample over injured bodies and possibly carcasses to rise to the top. So your foundation is not built on something of character, of strength, of perseverance and ingenuity. It's off of humiliation and death and just downright depraved behavior. building our success on the failures, not just failures. I mean, outright destruction of people's lives. Kind of like what the president did, our former president, Donald J. Trump. Sorry, I got to go back to this for a second, everyone. We got on Joe Biden for being in office for 47 years. 47 years. And not getting anything accomplished. And there's a lot that former President Trump, got accomplished in his mogul business. But he too rose on the backs, sweat, and devastations of other people's lives. When he chose to file bankruptcy at least 4 times. He used the system allowed him to do it, but there are a lot of people who should have been paid who never were paid by what he did. See, let's do this right. If we're going to be doing unpopular mechanics, let's do unpopular mechanics about the right side, the left side, and even the people in the mirror. And even the people in the mirror. Yes, Renee, God says, come humbly, not proudly. Pride goes before the fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. I believe that is that Proverbs 16:18 or 18:16? And that's what, see, if we don't humble ourselves right now in the midst of the falling snow or closed streets or icy roads, and we have to sit there and reflect on our lives, do the introspection that really matters in making us seemingly human, God will ravage our lives with destruction, untold destruction that will rival any horror story or natural disaster that you've ever made or seen in your life. See, a lot of us keep thinking that we can navigate this thing called life, destroying other people's lives, and there won't be any consequences for our actions. We may not see it on this side, but those words, depart from me, are not words that you want to take so lightly. Those are words that are, because there's finality. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you, are the words you hear as you're on a one-way road to hell. There are no U-turn signs. There are no shoulders to get onto so that you can turn the vehicle around and get back on the highway. It's a one-way road. It's a one-way. It's like one of those carts inside of a mining thing. It goes down one way. It travels and it has to spin all the way back around to come back up to the top. But or there's a lot of work to get it back up to the top. But no, depart from me. Those are the unpopular mechanics of those who have rejected the kindness, the grace, the mercy, and the goodness and forgiveness of God offered through Jesus Christ. See, right now, as we're sitting here trying to figure out ways that we can destroy other people's lives, understand that in that mentality, we are destroying our own lives. We have to be unpopular. If we're going to be unpopular because you just don't want to do what everybody else is doing. Like Carol had said yesterday, I'm my own kind of hat girl. I hope I got that right. I still love that phrase, even if I slaughtered it. That you be unpopular because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. We need people like you. Renee, I love this. It takes more effort to try and destroy someone than it does to contribute in a positive manner. Yes, Keith. Keith says Trump may have filed bankruptcy, but it shows he built something unlike anyone in government for their entire working life. But see, I understand what you're saying, but the problem is you put "but" in there. because you acknowledge that he filed bankruptcy. And again, I'm not condemning him, but I'll give him the first one. But the other three, those people who did not get paid, what about their lives crushed? What about their lives destroyed? What about their lives matter? If all lives matter, black, white, in the womb, out the womb, young, old, straight, gay, brown, black, white, precious in his sight, then we need to hold that standard all the way across the board. It's difficult because that means that we have to acknowledge people and acknowledge stuff that we probably don't want to, because it doesn't help us in our partisanship or our biased behavior. Folks, we struggle with partiality all the time. Being impartial is a very difficult thing to do. That's the reason why we look at God and watch how he executes it flawlessly, beautifully, the way he does this. Oh, what was the other one I want to talk about? Yeah, here's one that I thought was really interesting because of the fact that now, see, here's going to be some future pains that we have to pray for a lot of people, because, so I want to, it's Black History Month. Let's pray for the black community, because there's going to be a lot of angst that's going on right now. And this new radical immigration bill from Joe Biden, it says it's not amnesty. That's going to be give carte blanche. People just come right into this country. I think back to, I think it was 2012, somewhere between 2012 and 2015. I watched videos, more and more videos come up of black people, African, if you want to call them African Americans, whatever you want to call them. They were upset with former President Barack Obama because of the fact that they put all their votes in him and on him to see that he would be president of the United States of America. And by the second time around, actually, to tell you the truth, he did nothing for black people in 8 years. Oh, well, he changed prison sentences. I mean, the unpopular thing is being now exposed, because a lot of you gave your votes to this president hoping to see change or making America better than MAGA. And now you're getting the same old thing. We're about to get back into this deal with Iran. We're back in the Paris Climate Accords. We're about to raise taxes on individuals. We're about to open the floodgates. We're about to open the floodgates of people coming into the country. Millions of people are without work, okay? The economy needs to get moving back, but we can't do it if we don't allow there to be jobs for the people in this country to work. So let's just farm in 12 million more people. That's very unfortunate. It is very sad because of the fact that here it is. This radical plan is now abandoning millions of American people looking for jobs, needing employment. And this is going to be 12 to 20 million more mouths we have to feed, that the government says we're going to take care of that bill. But you can't do that unless you raise taxes. Biden may be a one-term president. Kind of like how George Bush Sr. said he wouldn't raise taxes. He raised taxes and boom, he was out of there. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, but I still struggle to see Joe Biden being in office after April 1st. And I forgot the countdown for March 6th, because that's the other inauguration. Whatever. This whole idea, immigration reform in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of power outages, it's just mind-blowing. Here's one, actually, I thought that was really sad. because this is old school. This is old school. My girls always talk about, they see some old cars. It's so cute watching my girls talk about looking at older vehicles that might be like early 2000s. They're like, that's old school. Like, baby, you haven't seen old school yet. Well, here's old school. Prince Marky D of the Fat Boys, the rapper, prolific music producer, passes away. Sorry. Drink a little bit more water. That's the most you're going to get out of me right now in beatboxing. But yes, I remember the Fat Boys. 52 years old. This Negro died 1 day away or 1 week away from him turning 53 years old. He is 4 years older than me, or 3 years older than me. I can do math. Yeah, I can do math. I just feel so bad because that is just someone out of my past that wow. We're losing a lot of people, but it really hits me as a black man harder when a rapper from my past dies too. I'm sorry. This is what you're going to get on 3 hours of sleep. So don't complain. This is what you're going to get on 3 hours sleep. You should be happy that I've got anything. If I've said one intelligent thing in this past 55 minutes, be blessed and understand. I am on fumes. I'm on less than fumes. Yes, Carolyn, it's not smart thinking on what he's doing about the immigration thing, and I'm really saddened about it because I don't think this is there's a lot of difficult decisions that our president Joe Biden has to make, that he has to do. And I know that a lot of us, we're not happy about him being president, but he is now. There's no turning it around. Whatever you think is going to happen on March 6th, whatever I think is going to happen on April 1st or before April 1st, or whatever is projected out for the July and all these other different things. There is one article. Yes, I forgot to say. Yes, let me find this one because this was very interesting. Did you hear about the black woman who died? It's on Fox News. Black woman dies 1 day after getting the COVID vaccine shot. 1 day after getting the COVID vaccine shot. And the crazy part about it is because of unpopular news. See, the news media went out of their way. Hi, Dawn. Thank you for being part of this program. The news media all last year went out of their way to promote every death from COVID. It was a car accident, COVID death. Everything was labeled as COVID death. Now the numbers are dropping. Infection rates and death are dropping at record numbers now because certain things are now being reclassified in the whole process of people dying from COVID. But they're also reclassifying how the window and time of people being highlighted, of being infected, because they have to keep boosting up the numbers to make it more and more of a threat of you being in fear and needing a vaccine. Well, this woman, and I can't find the article right now, but this woman died, okay? No, I sent it to my wife. Yes, that's what it was. I sent it to my wife, and this was a very interesting, because my wife is so amazing. She reminds me of these different things that when I have my junior moments, and I can't remember everything that I'm talking about, I'll just go back to a text message and look and see what's going on here. Yes, here it is. Here it is on Fox News. Now, this is unpopular because the vaccine's not supposed to do this stuff, right? And she happens to be black. Former Detroit News TV anchor dies after getting COVID-19 vaccine. Husband says cause of death is unclear. Hogwash. Whether it's the COVID bump or it is new blood diseases and everything like that you can imagine. No, we're going to tell you a thing that's barely 65 days tested and proven to be true is nothing for you to worry about. Here's a black woman who died shortly after getting the COVID vaccine. And now they're saying, and I love the language that they use on this here thing too, because they said that that they believe that COVID is masking what the other underlying issues were. What? We've been saying that for the last year, that COVID is being labeled and masking pre-existing conditions. And now that phrase doesn't work anymore because that is no longer unpopular. Because that unpopular means of reporting against Trump can't be used now. We have to report the truth. Unpopular opinion is going to be the death of us. Manipulating the data is not a good way. You too, Carolyn, have a blessed weekend. Everybody have a blessed weekend. There's still some snow out there. Get out there and play if you can. Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo's up next. And me, I'm going to get through a couple of meetings, and then I'm going to crash hard because I need to get some sleep. Pray for me, folks, as I pray for you. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. God bless. Thank you so much for tuning in and paying attention. Be safe. Love you all.